Hey, what is going on, guys? Spoons here, and in today's video we're going to be covering a lot of Horde details which were just released from the Coalition in their 6th developer blog. And if you guys do want to read that yourself, I will have a link to it down below. Otherwise, I'll just summarize the entire thing in this video. And we're going to be going over 5 main categories here that they cover. Basically, general Horde details, classes and skills, fortifications, Horde progression, and the final 3 requirements for Seriously 4.0, which are for Horde. So let's talk about the general Horde 3.0 details. Horde is going to be 50 waves. Every 10 waves you're going to run into a boss wave. Now if you were watching at PAX West, they did reveal 2 of the bosses, but they said we'll have to find out when we play the game what the other bosses are, so that's pretty interesting. But the 2 ones that we did see are the Carrier and the Snatcher, which look pretty amazing. Also, a fabricator is something that is brand new to the Gears of War universe, and essentially what it is, it's a take on a 3D printer, which is a mobile fortification kind of unit for Horde. So basically you can bring it around the map to wherever you want, and you can sort of craft different things within the fabricator, such as fortifications, decoys, turrets, whatever it may be. You can do it right inside the fabricator, anywhere on the map, so you're no longer restricted to a certain area like you were in Gears of War 3. Now, to craft things in the fabricator, you're going to be using a brand new currency to the Gears of War franchise called energy. Now, energy can be picked up while playing Horde. Essentially, when you kill an enemy, he will drop energy. You can go pick it up, and I'll talk about that a little later when I get into the classes and the skills. But you will use that as the currency to craft things in the fabricator. Now, they also made a point to tell you that if a teammate dies during the round, you can actually go and pick up their revival token or cog tags, whichever it is, and go put it in the fabricator, spend some energy, and you can actually revive that teammate during the round. However, the more times you actually revive teammates, the more expensive it's going to be with energy. So obviously you don't want your teammates to die. So let's talk about the classes and skills in Horde 3.0. Now, classes and skills are brand new to the Gears of War franchise. There are a total of 5 classes. Each class has their own unique loadout, as well as passive ability and some unique skills that each class can equip. But before we get into those, I just want to point out that any character in the game can be any class. So you're not restricted to a certain character for a certain class. So, for example, if you thought JD was only going to be the engineer and Oscar was only going to be the heavy class, that is not true. You can be whichever character you want for whatever class you want, which is amazing. So let's just get right into the classes here, starting with the engineer. Now, the engineer's starting weapons are the Enforcer, the Gnasher, and the Snub, and the passive ability for the engineer is that it starts with a repair tool for free. Now, I say for free because any class can actually get the repair tool from the fabricator, but the engineer actually spawns with it for free, which is amazing. Now, obviously the repair tool is used to repair things such as fortifications and decoys. But the main focus of the engineer is to focus on the fortifications because the engineer has discounts on building fortifications and their upgrades. So you really want the engineer to be, laser focused on everything fortification wise. And if they're not, you should probably get yourself a new engineer. Now, they did point out that the cons of the engineer is their lack of personal firepower. They have no skills that boost personal damage and rely entirely on the energy to keep their impact on the fight at its most effective. Now, the next class here is the Heavy, and the Heavy starting weapons are the Retro Lancer, Boom Shot, and Boltok Pistol, and the passive ability is that it starts with a free Boom Shot. Now, I actually think this is one of the weaker passive abilities, and we'll kind of see that later on when I go over the other classes, but the only benefit I can see to this is if your Heavy dies during the round and you go and revive them, they will already have a Boom Shot when they spawn back in, but otherwise around round 7, 8, or 9 you're probably going to find a Boom Shot anyway. But like I said, that's probably the benefit to the passive ability, is that if it dies during the round you can spawn in with the Boom Shot. So the point of the Heavy is obviously to deal big damage to enemies through explosive or heavy weaponry and turrets. So you want your Heavy to focus on the big guys, the boss waves, the Scions, things like that. And they actually went over some of the skills that the Heavy can take advantage of, such as the marked damage skill, which makes you deal extra damage to marked enemies, allowing you to take down high priority targets marked by your team. Also, the mortar strike allows you to decimate a number of enemies very quickly. So the heavy is obviously a big hitter here, and one of the cons actually to the heavy is that it focuses on sort of bigger and slower weapons. So you're gonna really have to be careful with not missing your shots, obviously, and making sure you have enough ammo to take down the big guys. Because if you're a heavy and you only have one boom shot left, and you know like 3 Boltok shots left, and you know, barely any Retro Lancer shots, you're gonna have some trouble. Basically, you gotta be cautious, be careful about how much ammo you still have left, and you know when to actually go and get ammo out in the field. But yeah. So the next class here, which personally I think is probably going to be the most crucial to have when you're playing Horde 3.0 and have a good one of, is the Scout. Now the Scout starts with the Retro Lancer, Gnasher, and Snub Pistol, and the passive ability for the Scout is so good. Double energy pickups during combat. So while you're during a round, you're going to get double energy pickups, and you want as much energy as you can. You want to maximize your energy. So as a scout, you have to be very smart going out and getting your energy without dying, and making sure you're bringing it back to the fabricator and putting it in there. So apparently they also made a point that the scout has a lot of trouble in later waves collecting energy, and you're going to have to rely a lot on your teammates to provide cover fire, as well as rely on yourself to be smart about, you know, certain routes to take, when you should not go out and risk getting double the energy because the enemies are just pushing too hard. So I think the Scout is the most crucial and the most important, and probably one of the tougher classes to play in Horde 3.0. Now the next class here is the Sniper, and the Sniper obviously starts with the Long Shot, the Marksum Mark I, and the Snub Pistol. The passive ability for the Sniper is that it starts with 2 Marksman Rifles. Now this is also, like I said, one of the weaker sort of passive abilities, similar to the Heavy, but the only benefit is the same as the Heavy, is if the Sniper actually dies during the round and you revive them, they already have 2 Marksman Rifles when they spawn back in. But the Sniper is all about headshots. You want to focus on headshots, and you are very reliant on your precision. So if you're going to have a sniper on your team, you want to make sure that they don't miss, and they're actually good with the sniper, probably in general multiplayer. Also, one of the most important things for the sniper to do is actually mark enemies from far away. So you want to mark enemies and tell your teammates about them before they actually are right in front of the fortifications, so that your teammates can actually prepare for the enemies. The sniper is the only class here that can actually see enemies from very far away because of the scopes that it actually has on its guns. So you want to be very cautious about where enemies are coming from, and make sure you let your team know where they are coming from. Now the final class here is the just core Gears of War combat class, which is the Soldier. The Soldier spawns in with a Lancer, Gnasher, and Snub Pistol, and the passive ability is that it starts with frag grenades. So this is just back to basics here with Gears of War. You know, Lancer, Gnasher, Snub, and the Soldier really needs to focus on just dealing a lot of damage over time. Now one of the big skills that the Soldier actually has is the Hammer of Dawn Strike, which we actually saw a little bit of gameplay of. And it costs a lot of energy, but obviously will take out a lot of big enemies if you need it to. Alright, so let's talk about fortifications in Horde 3.0. Now obviously all these fortifications are going to cost a certain amount of energy, and you're going to want your scout to go out and get that energy because it gets double the energy. But anyway, let's just get right into the fortifications themselves. So the most basic one of them all is the barrier, which slows or blocks enemies. There's also a decoy, which draws enemy fire. And you can actually repair these decoys using energy. There are also 2 different types of sentries. The MG sentry, which deals additional damage, and you can restock it with the repair tool. Now, like I said, any class can actually get the repair tool. It's just that the engineer spawns with it for free. And the shock sentry focuses on slowing and stunning enemies rather than fully killing them. The turret is a player controlled turret, so think of it just like a player controlled MG sentry. There's also a weapons locker, which is brand new to the Gears of War Horde scene, and this thing is freaking awesome. What you can do is store weapons, and it will slowly refill the ammo during the rounds, which is just absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to use this. You really want to put your sort of more rare or heavy hitting weapons in this, in my opinion, such as the boom shot or the torque bow. There's also a repair tool, like I said, and it replaces the pistol, and any player can actually use it. They also made a point that the fabricator will auto level up when it reaches a certain energy amount, and it unlocks more fortifications for you to use. Alright, so let's talk about Horde progression, and there are two different types of levels in Horde. There are class levels, so you can actually level up your class just by playing it up to level 10, and it will unlock more skill slots up to 5 by doing this. For each class. There are also skill levels, which is the power of your current skill, and you can unlock your skills through skill cards, upgraded by finding different duplicates of those skills, and you can max your level out of those skills to 5. So basically, skill level is maxed to 5. In order to actually level up whatever skill you have to find duplicates of that skill, and you can also get them through gear packs, or you can destroy unwanted skill cards to earn scrap, which is a currency to craft the cards that you want. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. Also, anything done in Horde 3.0 also gives you experience for the overall Gears 4 level, which is really amazing. They didn't really specify how much XP you get from Horde that relates to your Gears of War 4 level, but at least we get some. Alright, so last but not least, let's talk about Seriously 4.0 and the final 3 requirements that were just revealed that obviously are Horde related. So you need to get all 5 classes to level 10. That is the class levels that we just talked about. You need to level any 5 Horde skills to 5, which is the max, and we've just talked about skill levels. And you also need to complete all 10 on-disc maps from wave 1 to 50 on any difficulty. So those are the last 3 things for Seriously 4.0, and I actually think that these are somewhat challenging, and I cannot wait to do it, especially completing all 10 maps from wave 1 to 50 on any difficulty. That is a hell of a lot of maps. That's 50 waves, right? Or 500, sorry. 500 waves. I can't do math apparently. It's 500 waves, and that's a lot of waves of Horde. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this video, so if you really did enjoy it, please hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below on what you think of Horde 3.0 with all these new details that were just released. I can't wait to see what the next developer blog has in store for us. I can't wait to play Horde 3.0. I hope to see you guys online, and maybe we can party up and play. But if you enjoyed the video and you enjoy Gears of War 4, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next video.